Alright, looks like timber's ready for us to pull it in. Not pulling in this one today. As you guys can tell by the title, maybe the thumbnail, depending on which thumbnail I pick. We are walking back here to get the second gen. So, I'm going to be bringing it back down to earth today. I'm going to have to get U-bolts made, but that's part of it. Probably going to take 2 days to do it. I don't know, it depends how strong my work ethic is feeling. Set you guys up. And this is a VP truck, so upon startup you will understand most of it, but VP truck that needs a lot of love. But it's got great potential to do around 600 horse, so that's why we're bringing it down. Alright guys, so as you saw, we got the truck in the shop. Next, just for all of you guys that are wondering how much you can lower one of these trucks, all that stuff, like actual specific measurements, for that purpose we're going to go ahead and measure. Some people do it from ground to fender. We're keeping the same tires on it, so I'm going to do top of the tire to the bottom of the fender. I'm going to measure that front to back, and we're going to see where we're at, and then we'll measure after we're done, obviously, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to lower the rear first, so if you guys see me lower, after I get done lowering it, don't get your panties in a wad. I'm sure it'll look squatted, but we're lowering the rear first because, I mean, I'd rather work front to back, or back to front. I want to do the rear first so I can go get U-bolts made, and then while those are being made, get the front situated. So rear's first, and let's go ahead and measure this. It is sprinkling out, so you might hear that on the shop, but so we have right at 13 inches on the rear from, I mean, that's a lot. But we got 13 inches. Obviously this tire's pretty bald, but oh well, it's not going to change much of our measurement. So 13 inches on the rear, and we got 11 3/4 on the front. So what we got, 1 1/4 inch? Yeah. 1 1/4 inch difference front to rear, so it still is nosediving just a little bit, really not a whole lot. It's not very noticeable. So starting in the rear, let's go ahead and I'll get you guys off the stand and you guys can look and see with me what all on the rear we have here and how much we can guess we're going to be losing. So we got a pretty big block right there. So the block's going to come out, and I mean that looks like a 4-inch block to me. I'll get under there and measure it. Obviously that gets rid of our bump stop, but so we got a 4-inch block, and then we got an overload, which we got these helpers as well, I believe is what these are. So we got these helpers. We're probably going to pull the overload as well. So I'll pull the blocks and the overload. This old girl does not have a gooseneck ball, so really not worried about it. I do think it would be a great towing truck once it's tuned correctly, but it's not really what it's going to be used for anyway. So that's what we're going to be pulling out of the rear. The front, It's just leveled. As far to my knowledge, it's just leveled. I think it's a huge leveling kit. I think it's like a 3-inch or so. But we'll get that off as well. That's no biggie. It'll actually make our alignment as far as the where the control arms are. It's gonna make it a lot better, and it's not gonna be sucked back as far towards the cab. Unfortunately, the previous owner hacked it up quite a bit right there. It had some 22x14s on it. That's unfortunate that happened, but it happens, so nothing we can't fix. But let's start on the rear. What I'm gonna do first, you guys have seen me do this with the 05, a couple other trucks. We're gonna jack this up and get the axle hanging. Obviously I'm gonna take the wheels and tires off first, but we'll get the axle hanging, support the frame with jack stands so the axle will hang properly, and then undo our U-bolts, drop some of the goods, and then obviously we got to remeasure for our new U-bolt length. So okay, so for you how-to guys, I'm gonna go ahead and show you where I'm at, and then I've charged my battery a little bit more so I can do some more time lapse. So all I did was put the jack under the pumpkin, take the tires off, and then I jacked it back up and got it. Well, obviously I had to take the traction bars loose. So if you guys don't have traction bars, you can skip that step, but I went ahead and took them loose because I know that angles and measurements and all that are going to change. So got those loose, taken off, and then I jacked it up and put 2 of these 2x under here with jack stands right in front of the traction bar mount, and set the truck down on that to let the suspension hang. And then I put my drop hitch on to put my big jack back here so I can jack up on that and expand the from the axle to the leafs and whatnot. And I put my small jack under the rear axle so I can move it around as well. And what I will eventually do here is put a jack stand under up by where the pinion's at, or the yoke or whatever, and then that'll keep that angle good. I won't have to mess with the drive shaft. There's a good chance I might have to undo the shocks. On my 3rd gen I had to, so I'm kind of fully expecting to have to on this one. It's a 21 mil for these. I don't know if these are factory. I'm gonna assume they are. We haven't been told otherwise. So I got my 21 mil socket on my the mid-torque Milwaukee 1/2-inch impact, and busted all those loose really easy and got those off. So I kind of kept the 2 of the nuts threaded on the bottom. You can already see it's separated, so it's a really good sign. Obviously I'll have to undo this, but it's going well so far. I'm probably going to go ahead and let loose the other side and then see how far I can droop the axle. And yeah, I might have to undo some wiring, maybe a little bit, just out of the clips. But I will show you guys if I have to do any of that. I will show you. The sway bar stuff, I really don't know anything about it, so there's probably a good chance I'll have to undo that. My 3rd gen did not have that. I don't know, hopefully I don't have to, because it looks like it's more like tie rod, or they're actual joints, like with a cotter pin in there and everything, kind of like a tie rod end would be. So that's kind of interesting. So 2nd gens are a little bit different than 3rd gens like I've done previously. I'm going to be lowering both 1st gens as well. So we got a lot of this ahead of us, so we're going to try and figure out how to do it the most efficient way. But I'm going to grab my impact and then undo the U-bolts on this side as well, and then see where we're at, see how much distance we can get between these leaves. We just need enough to get these blocks out, and then we'll be home free. So I'm going to put you guys on I got my stand lowered down, put you guys on this, and let's get to it. Okay, sorry that I took you guys off the time lapse. We had to take a little pause break because the tire shop called and told me they got the tires dismounted. And I know you guys will want to see this because, I mean, a lot of you guys are interested in the same stuff I am. Here are the welds. So they got the 37s taken off of them. There is one, it's had some work done on it before. It might have been cracked or something, but I'm probably gonna have this one probably maybe fixed. I don't know. You can see right there, it's pretty goobered up. I don't know what I think about it, but I'm gonna have it fixed and filled basically, and then just make it look like it's brand new. And some of these others on the lips, they could use a little love anyway. But yeah, just picked up the welds from the tire shop, and they are confirmed. Right here. I'm a pretty good eyeballer, but this confirms it. So 17 by 10, they are 8 by 170, so I have adapters in the shop. And 3.625 back spacing. That's right on the money. I was glad they're not the 4-inch back spacing. So we got that deeper lip action. There's one of the adapters right there. But anyway, let's hop back to it. So what you guys didn't see, I shut the time lapse off right before I undid the rest of this side, the U-bolts, and this block quite literally just fell out. So the other one should come out very easy. So after, let's just go try and knock that one loose real quick while I'm holding you guys, just to see if it does prove to be that easy on both sides, because that would make my day a whole lot better. Little hammer, it's not the big one, just like that. So this pretty large block, let's just go ahead and get the tape out. So this block is basically 5 inches. It's 4 3/4. So almost a 5-inch block. We're gonna be getting rid of that. That can go out. And then what I have to do next is get a socket. Tell me this thing isn't round. If this thing's round, which I'm about 99% sure it is, then I just have to hope it doesn't spin. I might put some PB Blaster on it first to make sure it doesn't spin. But we're gonna undo that and then drop this overload and get that out of there, and then put the bolt back through and mock it back up, figure out how long we need our new U-bolts to be, and mark on them so I can take them down 40 minutes south of here to Joplin and have them make me some U-bolts. That's what I always do. Okay, I got my stud put back on here and the nut tightened down. And now, as you can see, whenever I put this block back on top that was on here, we got a little bit of a protrusion issue. It's sticking out, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this thing back down probably that far and get rid of that top half so I can still put this on and put our helpers on. And then we'll set the truck back down. After obviously I gotta do the other side too, but I will mimic the exact same thing I do on the other side that I do on this side, so I won't film the other side. Okay, so let me stand back a little bit. It is, like I said, leaning real hard right now, but let's go ahead. We got a tape measure. We don't have the U-bolts yet. I'm getting those made tomorrow. We got it right here. I got it marked. So it's hard to see, but right there, we're gonna need a U-bolt. The end of it is that length. So obviously a lot of height was taken out. Let's see what we got. So 7.5 inches. That's a ton. As you guys remember, we were all the way up at 13 inches before. So we just dropped it a ton. So we're at 7.5 inches in the rear, and we're at 12 inches in the front now because we gained a little bit since it's leaning. But what we're gonna do now is pull this jack out from the pinion and bring it up to the front and get rid of the leveling spacer, and then measure it, see where we're at, decide if we need to cut a coil.
No, decide how many we need to cut.
Oh, decide how many we need to cut, Andy says. But I mean, obviously this thing, it's sitting a lot lower. It's gonna look a ton better.
These shots are fucking huge. So.
Yeah, so it does have, oh boy, are those Billisteens?
Yeah.
Oh. So it's got Billisteens on it right now, and we think those might be they might be too long. So yeah, we might have to get different shocks under it, whether, I don't know when that'll be, but we're gonna at least get U-bolts tomorrow morning made. We're gonna go ahead and move to the front and see if we can't get it lowered down without messing anything up back there. All right guys, so we got the front wheel off. We got the jack stand supporting the frame. The jack led all the way down to extend this spring as much as possible. The bolt, what is it? Fucking shock tower, there we go. Shock tower bolt size, or nut size, 14 mil. Then the top for the shock itself is a 19. You about to lose a finger there?
Yeah, dude.
Used Philistines. For sale, not on sale. Wow, that looks brand new. Wow. Wow. Scary. It's only a time bomb. It's all right, guys. So for starters, don't try that at home if you're inexperienced or if you haven't done it before. I've used ratchet straps on stuff like this many times before, but whenever you put something this ridiculous in, that's what happens. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and set that off to the side. Is it jacked up any, Kel? No. Alright guys, so we got the front leveling puck out. This is what it sits like. So obviously it's still leaning a little bit. Right now I think we're at 2.5 inches difference front to back. The front's still sitting 2.5 inches higher, so we're thinking if we cut a coil it would kind of get us to where we need. Really want to get to like 1/2 inch difference front to rear, but if we can get it about to 1 inch we'd be sitting a lot better. But we're on the right track, so we're gonna go ahead and do the other side and decide if if we're gonna cut a 1/2 coil, a full coil, or what. So. All right, so we've came to the conclusion we're cutting one coil. I will tell you how we came to that conclusion. So, I actually found something worthwhile in the Second Gen Facebook group, and Alex here did a full write-up on different heights. He's had 4 different heights on his pickup, and the bottom one, number 4, is 1 coil cut and no block in the rear. So right now we have no block in the rear, and if it'll focus, that's the height that we're going for. The very top is leveled with a 2.5 inch level. The bottom one is nothing in the rear, just like we've got, and 1 cut coil. So we're thinking that's going to be the ticket, and we've got the grinder out. Essentially all we're going to do is
forget your safety spot.
cut it right there, and we'll take one coil out just like that. Alright guys, so we got the coils are cut, truck's low. I think I already showed you guys that. But now we have to wait until tomorrow to go get our new U-bolts made down in Joplin. I'm gonna get up in the morning and go get those. I got these marked. We're gonna get some for Andy's 3rd gen as well, because we're gonna lower it just a little bit more. But now we're gonna end up buffing it tomorrow, but clay barring the paint right now. And so you guys can tell how bad it is. And this is the hood. The hood, I mean, it's way better. My clay is literally pretty much turned all black. It's definitely no good. But I'm working on claying the truck right now. I've done the other fender, the hood, which is the bad part, and then getting ready to work on this fender. The rest of it, I mean, you can still kind of hear a little bit. Right here, this door's not very good. But really the rest of it isn't bad at all. The hood is the worst part, and then the roof is also really bad. But this glass is we're gonna try some polish on it because it looks very bad as well. All right guys, so it is the next day. Me and Andy probably have only slept a couple hours since you saw us last, because at 1:30 in the morning we decided we were gonna go buy a set of welds. So Andy got a set of welds for the 3rd gen. But we're back now. We went and got U-bolts made down in Joplin, about 40 minutes south of here. It was like 93 bucks for the whole, to do all 4. So that's what you can go off of if some local place is doing it for you. But now we're just pulling tires off and gonna put the U-bolts on, put the perches, and then hopefully, I don't know how far off the track bars will be, we'll see. But we're gonna get it all on and mount them up and set it back on the ground. All right. Okay guys, here's your final basically view of the 2nd gen. It is dirt nasty low. It looks awesome. There's no shocks in the front, and there is still shocks in the rear. We are currently waiting for some stock link shocks. Spot on, but it's coming around. Definitely looks sharp. Okay, so the guys were working on Andy's truck. They got the welds thrown on that we went and got late, well, actually early this morning at about 6 a.m. Andy, give me the breakdown here. What's going on?
So we bought U-bolts, and 3rd gen leaf packs have bolts that clamp the leaf pack together, and then the U-bolts that hold the leaf pack to the axle, and the bolts that clamp the leaf pack together are still too long to use these shorter U-bolts. So
Yeah.
we got factory U-bolts in there with a bunch of spacers. Not ideal, but we took another leaf out. So
Yeah, so now what's the whole setup in the rear, because everybody's going to wonder. It's similar to my old white truck, but
3
lower.
leaves. So one factory 1-ton with 3 leaves and the 2-inch airbag and drop shackles.
Yeah, so it is similar to my old truck, but it is lower. This thing is
305 40 22.
325
40
yeah,
22.
325 40 22. So these are a pretty tall tire.
32.8.
But we'll throw up a picture of what this thing looks like pulled outside, so you guys can get the full look. These welds are immaculate. Basically, the story was they were on like what, a Suburban? They were on a Suburban in a dealership on display, and that's why the chrome is still there, essentially, because usually chrome welds have already peeled all the chrome off. But yeah, then they get spray painted black, but these are immaculate. So that's the story on Andy's truck. You guys obviously have seen this truck a lot already, and you'll continue to see a lot of it. It's a very sharp truck. It makes me miss my old one. All right, so we are headed out. Man, that thing looks so good. So I already know, I can already hear the comments and questions like, oh, with it that low, what are you even gonna do with it? You can't use it, it's not a truck anymore. And I'll nearly pull my hair out hearing that. But basically, I mean, if you want to tow, you probably wouldn't have done that in the first place. But if we do want to hook up a trailer to Keller's truck, airbags. It's that simple. If and when we finally get that thing running how he wants it and we hook it to the sled, Dirty Hooker Diesel makes suspension stops and all that. So really not worried about it at all. There's plenty of people that do it, and it turned out very well, in my opinion. We're definitely happy with it. We got some work to continue with and keep doing. So really, like I was saying earlier, we've got to replace a U-joint, the rear U-joint right by the axle. We're going to do shocks all the way around, and then after that we got to move up. We got to do an intake, get that all situated, and then our hood stack kit, and that'll all be done as far as like things that need to be done in order to drive the truck. And then we're gonna obviously get it a Quadzilla and get it tuned by TJ Fry, because we want the truck to run a lot better. It's got a lot more potential than it currently has with the Edge Juice with Attitude. So it'll get there. We're hoping for low 600s, so it should be a runner. If you guys don't know the details on that truck, it is got a Finley Precision Inductions 6267 9 HX35R. It's a spicy little unit, but it uses a 9 cm off an HE351, so you get that angled internal gate, and that means you can't choke those things out, especially in a VP truck. He's not going to run out of air at all. And then we got a set of Ducky 7x12s. I think that's where our limit's going to be. We don't know much about the pump. It's just got a fast 150 on it, and then the whole other 9 yards, the head studs and the valve springs and all that good stuff. So we're slowly working our way towards a somewhat rowdy VP truck. It's got a NV 4500 in it with the 1 3/8 input shaft, and then a good, I forget, I believe it's a South Bend dual disc in it is what it is. So that's the story on the VP truck. It's looking sharp, and we will continue working on it. So thank you guys for coming and watching today's video, and I hope you enjoy it. But until next time, I will see you guys on the Old School Crew. More than likely, the next video is going to be some paint correction. One after that, probably going to be some first gen content. So we're coming for you. Don't worry. Keep kicking it old school. We'll see you guys later.